Dan, I just flew in from Austria, and boy, are my arms tired.
I, w- I was going to say, you look a little tired. You look a little fatigued sitting over there.
Yeah, well, I was wrestling crocodiles and wombats or whatever else is over in Australia. It's not Australia; it's Austria.
Austria, I was going to say, aren't you talking, isn't that in Australia, not Austria?
Yeah, I was trying out to be the fifth wiggle for that. You probably don't know what that means. There's a famous um, group that was a children's entertainment group, a singing group known as the Wiggles. I was never mind. Bad joke about Australia. I was not in Australia, Dan. I was in Austria. There's a
Austria,
slight
yeah.
difference.
You had a
There's
big
a
trip,
slight difference between the two countries.
a little
Yes.
bit. Yeah.
Had a big trip. Yeah, had a big trip. We were in Vienna, Austria, Salzburg, Austria, and then we were in Berchtesgaden, Germany, and Munich.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was nice. I saw the German Alps, the Austrian Alps, the Alps. I saw them. That was nice.
The
Except for the
Alps.
mountains, it looks just like Ohio. Yeah,
And you
trees
were
and
over
grass.
there during a little Oktoberfest time of the year.
Yeah, it was not October, but it was this big festival they have that's kind of like the Oktoberfest, but it's in September. And the one gentleman we were with said that this was like the place to go because some of the Oktoberfests in October bring in a lot of, I guess, foreigners, Americans, people that get on their nerves for being in the wrong place at the right time. So this was like a real Oktoberfest celebration, and I was there.
I think over here
That was
up in Wisconsin here, I think they have Oktoberfest at the end of September. I always thought like Oktoberfest was to prepare for October. It wasn't actually
that
in
could be a
October.
Wisconsin. That could be a Wisconsin thing, though. We wouldn't understand.
Yeah, it's just get together, drink beer, and eat brats.
There was a lot of beer. Gosh, a lot. Big. The mugs were as big as the car I used to drive when I was in college.
Did they have the waitresses holding like six of them at a time?
I didn't see that, but I saw a lot of the traditional Bavarian women's outfits.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, of course, there was a bunch of men's out too, but the women's outfits were more of an interest to me.
Nice. Very
Yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yeah. It was a big, like a county fairgrounds, except it was a massive facility. They had big major league rides, but they had two separate trade shows going on. On the one end, it was farming, and then on the other end, it was firewood, timber
Forestry.
thing, forestry, that.
Yeah.
And it's nice. I really enjoyed my time. So I can't explain this, but for people out there that might travel, and I don't mean like international travel, but I don't know what it does to me if it's from sitting on an airplane for 9 hours or just drinking different air, but stomach gets tore up, you know? And I actually did pretty good this entire trip, except for the day of this festival. I was not I was not feeling well. I told the guy driving, Jan, the driver, listen, I am about 15 seconds from say pull over from there being a mess, one way or the other. So if so he was on heightened awareness to pull over. I told him, I says, and oh, by the way, quit hitting all these potholes and turning so fast because every little movement was just making my stomach twist and turn some more. I was not in my best frame of mind that day.
Sounds like a fabulous time.
Yeah, but
Wow.
I found the strength to go on. I did.
Well,
As
that's
long as
good.
I was close to a bathroom, I was fine. And, there were times during this festival that the line at the bathroom was pretty long.
Oh.
Yeah, so during my walking, I was scoping out where all of the bathrooms were, just in case I was going to have an issue. Yeah, but it was
Oh,
this one
man.
day. Other than that, I was fine. I did pretty good.
Well, that
Something about that traveling, it just tears my stomach up. Yeah.
yeah, I don't I
Uh-huh.
I I remember one time I came down to Ohio, I had same incident, it was,
Yes, you did.
uh, I think the very
That's why I
first time
always
I
said
met
that
you.
you're the one in yeah, you're the one in charge of breaking in the porta johns. "Hi, Joe, where's the bathroom?" I think that was the
Yeah,
first time that we've met face to face.
"Very
I was
nice to
pointing
meet
to the
you.
bathroom for you.
Where is your restroom?"
Yeah, so Dan, I was away for 8 days. This was my, vacation, and, it was a lot of work to get ready to leave. When I returned, I was, just avalanched with orders, and, I was able to still get away and enjoy my time. I was, chaperoned by Lowry from TP Silva and from Jan Linz he is the German and Austrian importer of the Japa firewood processors. But we also visited a number of production yards that are using the TP Silva machines, which are the Japa, the Hakki Pilke, and the Palax machines.
I saw some
And
footage
it
that
was
you put
fun.
out.
I am going to tell you something because okay, I just love the machines. I don't care. Um, but the ones that we were looking at, I'll be quite honest with you, like the Palax and stuff, I haven't seen it that much. The ones that I have seen have been at trade shows and they run a or they make a couple cuts and then that's it. I've never seen one in production. But that production yard that we were in Mannheim, Germany, that circular saw machine, I posted a video on that. I'll be honest, that was about the best machine I've ever seen run. That
Wow.
wa that was I was blown away by that thing. I couldn't get it off my mind. That's how impactful that machine was on me. Wow.
I suppose it is a little different to think of seeing something on a demo compared to production, because I imagine
Yeah.
you were there for more than just a few minutes, so that is, probably an interesting perspective to see something like that, how it really produces.
Yeah. Well, the operator, his name was Matthew. He was awesome. He spent a lot of time on that machine. So there's another machine. I haven't posted the video of that yet on the posting of this episode of the Woodhounds, but he just went to town on this other machine. He is awesome. He makes me look like Mickey Mouse running my machine. This guy's dynamite. I was just watching him and thinking, gosh, there's so much things that he does different that just makes a lot of sense for production. And but he was awesome. But these machines are just unbelievable. The Palax machine. I'm a new fan. That might be my new favorite machine. All of the Palax machines that I saw running would just run circles around comparable machines. Serious.
And do they all have the circular
Um,
saw or just the one?
no,
Just
no, they
just their
had
top of the line.
a yeah. Well, they had a 360, which is the comparable to the Yappa 365. Um, and I not taking anything away from the Yappa 365 because I think it's a machine. But this Palax 360, just leave it in the dust.
Really?
It made it look like yeah, it made it look like you had a 8-pound maul. for splitting. Yeah. A comment the other day, evidently this guy can outsplit the X machine with a 8-pound maul, but
Oh,
whatever.
yes. Yep,
But
yep.
yeah, but I'm serious. This machine, it's unbelievably fast. Yeah, it was the same thing as the Japa 365. It had the 14-inch bar and chain on it, but it was just had some differences about it, and the speed was just off the charts. But I put a lot of thought into this, though. The one with the circular saw, that C1000, it was awesome. It was just unbelievably fast. But then when I got home and started running my 405 again, and I was like, you know what, though? The speed, at some point, it becomes not important to me anymore. And yes, that machine is probably like 5 times faster than my 405. But then when I'm looking at my splits coming off of it, and then running something like that, you're going to be getting weird shapes coming off the top of the knife. If you didn't have it right or had the wrong size log in, you got to change the knife and all this stuff. I'll keep my 405. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, at some point, the speed is one thing, but I mean, we've talked about this before. Like cycle time
Yeah.
is kind of something that gets a lot of attention, but I don't know if it really matters that much because if you run for an hour straight and like I think you were talking about this last week or maybe one other week where like you have to load your logs, like there's always things to do, like you're not just continuously running your machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Well,
nice
I
to have that
think
speed, but
speed would be, yeah, speed would be important depending on the kind of operation you are. For instance, this place that we were at, speed is important. And gosh, I mean, this thing is just amazing how fast it is. And while he's running logs, there's another person they had like these mini excavators on wheels that were just zipping around the yard with grapples, and he was loading up the live deck. And I
oh,
just couldn't
okay.
believe how much wood this thing made in such a short amount of time. It was just awesome.
So
I
he
told
was
Lowry, I said, I'd love to have one of these machines.
so he was
Had a brilliant
operating the
idea getting
machine,
this machine in my yard.
and that was his role. He just stayed there. He never had to leave to load logs. He never had to leave to clear splits away. He was just
Yeah,
there was other people
just
manning those stations.
went to town.
Ah,
Yes, just went to town.
yeah.
And he
Oh,
said that machine, we had a language problem there. Their English wasn't that good, and I speak zero German. And I thought he had said that the machine was either 6 or 8 years old. That's how long they've had this thing.
oh, jeez.
It's just awesome. Yeah. The other thing that I noted, though, it was that circular saw. The sawdust was different, and I was just covered in dust when he was done. Made me think of like health implications. I think you need to wear some breathing filtration there, because I noticed even in that video my voice was getting a little weird, and I think it was from inhaling all that sawdust. That can't be healthy over time.
So it was like a finer dust.
Yes. Yes.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Uh-huh. It just blowing all over the place. They were very spotless in this yard. They didn't have a scrap of anything anywhere. And they would set one of the buckets from one of their machines, on the chute where the sawdust would just blow into it, and then they would go dump it. Like this other video that I'll be posting, they had these big machines with these big buckets, and he just split right into the bucket, and then they would go take it to wherever they had to go with it.
And what
But everyone there had brooms and scoops. They were cleaning up everything. This
were,
place was spotless.
were they making 16-inch firewood?
No, he said 33 centimeter, and I was like, well, that tells me nothing. It was like somewhere around a foot to
I was gonna
like
say, yeah. What is
13
that?
inch, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me.
Huh.
I mean, who follows the metric system? Serious.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so
That was a lot of fun. Those Palax machines, I'm serious. They're the real deal. Good heavens.
Now, did they have the? Isn't the Palax the one that has, or one of the? I think now they came out with where it has like an auto centering wedge, where like when the log
Yeah, they
drops
have
in,
that.
it moves.
Yep, they have that, and then they also have a new machine that has a button, and that's it. You just push that button. It feeds it, it cuts it, and splits it. So like every cycle, you just have to push the button one time, and it does everything.
Oh my! Well,
Yeah,
that would be fast then.
yeah,
Boop boop boop.
uh huh. Yeah, it was the well, the owner had said, and he had been in business since 1991. He said that that machine, the C1000, is the best machine he has ever had, ever. And I got to believe him after seeing it run myself. Dan, it was just amazing how this machine was. Gosh, I'd love to have just I even though it's not the right machine for my business, I'd love to have it just to show it. It was just unbelievable.
It sounds like you were
I'll
very
take it.
impressed. Made quite
Yeah,
the
I was. I
impression.
was impressed with a lot of things. There was some other so Hakki Pilke makes this processor. Good heavens. I couldn't imagine a log that big. It had some of the biggest rams, knives I've ever seen. It's the 55 Pro. So I think 55 is centimeters. I don't know. Again, that tells me nothing, but I would say it's a big log, man, that it would run.
Is that the one that had the 16 way like wedge?
It was no, it's bigger than that one.
Oh,
Yeah, it was pretty. You have to like walk steps to get to it. That's how big it is.
but how many? But how many splits were? What kind of knife was it running?
Um, oh boy, I didn't count. I just was just it was on these big hydraulic rams, and they would pick one up and lower the other one. It would do it for you. It's
Oh, okay.
hard to
Yep.
explain. Yeah, see it. Yeah, yeah, it's something. You got to see it. And then I was at two different yards with two different Yapas, the 435, and there was one with the 405. I was excited to see that. But I couldn't get over how much bigger, stronger, and robust the 435 is than my machine. It's something. Gosh, these machines are awesome. And it's got to be nice over in Europe because all their trees are straight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what were they running?
Beech. Everything I saw was
Beach.
beech on these.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. The one machine was running pine. They were like these little skinnier ones, but it was mostly beech everywhere I was at. Remember the last time I came back from Germany, I was thinking, I got to clean my yard up because I think my yard looks pretty good when you see some of these other wood yards. But gosh, I mean, this one yard. So, like, this guy, um, he couldn't speak any English at all, none. He's an older gentleman. The moment you looked at him, you just knew that this guy has worked and is working his whole life. He just looked like a worker. Yeah, he just looked like someone that you could look at all of the wrinkles on his forehead and just know that he's worked, he's earned every single one of those.
Yep.
This guy's worked his whole life. So his wife made us lunch, and she had decent English. I could understand her. And was telling us that this guy, when he was growing up, he was a young boy. His dad had died when his boy was young, and I think he dropped out of school. I hope I'm getting this right. And he saved the family. He saved the house. He worked and kept his mom in a house. And she said that work ethic has followed him his whole life. She said he just works constantly. And she had said, like, even with like on Christmas Day and birthdays and stuff, he's out in his yard. That's what this guy was, and that is the standards too. His place, you didn't see a flake of sawdust anywhere in his yard. That's how clean it was.
And how long has he been doing firewood?
I think they said 1991.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So he's been doing it that long. Yeah. Yeah. That was my takeaways. It doesn't matter where you live. There are people out there, good people that have earned everything that they've gotten in life, you know?
Yep.
Boy, that place, that was something. The machines, the people there, everything about it was great. Yeah. They also have the ex firewood factory there too. So that was ground zero for me. We wanted to see it, and it was at work. The owner was a little frustrated because a lot of the logs that they've been getting in, he was acting like the market has slowed down, and they're bringing in a bunch of logs that got rejected from the mill, and a lot of these logs were punky, and they were going through that X knife, and there was a lot of waste coming off of them.
Uh, it was
So he
just
was a little
smashing them.
frustrated about that, but yeah, or the log, like the logs weren't splitting straight, like the log was disintegrating,
Yeah.
kind of
Yep.
a thing. Yeah. I put a short of it on Facebook, and all the people were just acting like the machine was junk, because of all the wood that was getting pulverized, but really it was because of the wood.
The material going in does matter.
Yeah.
What comes out?
Oh, but we still it was a work heavy. I think I've done 7 long form videos. I think about 10 to 15 shorts. Met a lot of nice people, but we also gotta go visit some historical sites, some of the things that I find interesting. And we walked almost 15 miles in Munich in two
Ooh.
days, just
Wow.
seeing the sights. I met up with my ex college roommate who's from Germany. He lives in the northern part. He took the train down to hang out with me and Lowry for a couple days, and it was nice to have him.
So you had a little vacation. You had
And
a little leisure, not necessarily all business.
yeah, well, yes, we got in. I thought it was just a perfect week. And Lowry from TP Silva is just an A1 person. He's just a joy to be around. He's fun. He has the right balance of fun and work. He's very passionate about the company, and just really. And he's also he's fluent in English. He's fluent in German, although he won't tell you that. He thinks his German's not that good. Got very good German, so we got along pretty good.
Well, that's good. Sounds like a heck of a time, except the having to find bathrooms during Oktoberfest celebration.
Yeah, it was just the one day. It was
Just
just
the
the one
one
day.
day.
It was just, yeah, I don't know. My stomach was upset, and you know, when you're not feeling good, you're not feeling good. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. Nothing you can do.
Yeah, um, we had a real nice time. I am honored to be held in such high regard by the team, with Japa and TP Silva, and I wanted to uphold my side of the bargain. I feel, I don't know, pressure. Like the game's got 2 minutes to go, and you got to come through for the team. I
Yeah.
felt like I wanted to do a good job for him. I did, and very grateful for everything the way that this has happened.
And now you got to get your yard cleaned up and you got to stay awake at night dreaming of the Palax 1000. Is that what? Yeah. The 1000? The
The
Palax
the
1000.
C1000.
The C
I
1000.
think the C is for circular saw. It makes me wonder about the circular saws. Okay, they're obviously faster. You don't have to use bar and chain oil. But I just know the moment I would get one of those machines, I would hit a bolt, hiding in a log, on like the very first log I would run through it. So I think I had heard that. Don't hold me to this. I think the saw blade is like $1,000
Oh,
replacement. but you can sharpen it. And I don't understand these meters, these cubic meters or whatever their measurements, but someone told me that 3 cubic meters equals approximately 1 cord in the United States. And I thought he had said the blade can last about 3,000 cubic meters before it is sharpened.
Ooh, wow.
But that doesn't mean you have to replace it. I think he said that's just where you just have to get it sharpened.
Where it would need
Yeah.
to be sharpened or swapped out with a. I mean, if they're only 1,000, you could have like 3, 4, 5 of them laying around.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, making
you
all
know,
that firewood, you could.
yeah,
Yeah,
swap it out. I mean, heck,
just keep it in the trunk of my Maserati.
just roll it on over, swap it out,
Uh huh.
start fire right back up.
I can remember the last new chain that I bought for my Dolmar. It was the third cut, and I hit a. It was like barbed wire or something was in the log, and it ruined the chain. Yeah.
Yep, that's how it goes.
So I would just, yeah, I would just imagine that you have a circular saw machine like that. Oh boy. But it was, yeah, it was unbelievable. This, look for a video probably in the next couple weeks of the Palax 360. But the other thing too, everything over there is electric. What does they say? 400 volts, 3-phase electric or something. And I don't know if we have less performance when with like I always wonder about my 405 because I think mine was the very first diesel and they put the Kubota D902 on it, but they had told me that they have gone to a bigger engine since. But it makes me wonder too if having the electric machine makes everything, where because sometimes I can't run the saw when it's splitting if it's in tough wood. But I
Oh,
wonder if how that affects with the electric. I don't know.
huh. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not as noisy.
No. Gosh. It's so quiet. The one yard we were out in the middle of a cornfield and he had electricity out there. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they've.
Yeah.
I think they have a little better infrastructure and grid system because everything's built for either to be run by electric or PTO.
There's solar panels everywhere in Germany and Austria. More in Germany. Everywhere. Like along the highways and stuff, you'll see these big fields are just thousands of solar panels.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you had quite the adventure.
Yeah, and then you got to come home.
And then you got to come home and get back to work, catch
Yeah,
up.
but who would have thunk it though, Dan? Just a simple guy from Ohio that one day bought a Japa 365 and put a video of it on YouTube, and then here I am.
There you are, searching for restrooms in Austria.
I was.
One day, a few years later, there you are, scrambling to find a toilet in Austria. Can you imagine?
Yeah. After looking at so like my historical interests, the big thing to me was seeing I put this in one of my videos. I was whispering in there, seeing the car that Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated in June of 1914, which started World War One, which started World War Two, which started the Cold War, and yada yada yada. Probably one of the most influential events in the history of the modern world was when Gavrilo Princip shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Anyhow, I saw the car. I saw the uniform that he was wearing. Um, and then the guns, I was a little upset about that. That's going to have to be a discussion for another episode. Because for a second, I thought I had uncovered a mass conspiracy being carried out by someone in Austria. But I wanted to see the gun. I mean, it's the most important gun in the history of the world, and the way it was set up, I don't know if you can tell which one it was, or if it was
Oh.
actually one of the 3 that was there. Remember, there were 4 conspirators during this assassination. 3 of them chickened out and left, and they all had identical pistols, the Browning 1910. So there
Hmm.
were 3 that were there, and the way they had it worded, you could not conclude which one it was,
Uh-oh.
if at all,
If it
any
was
of the
even
3
one of
that were
them.
there.
Oh my.
I was very upset. I was very upset. I need to write a book about this because I was like, "What the heck?" It would be like, like the rifle that Oswald used, and it's like not there. Like serious, you know. So I was
I don't
upset.
know.
Yeah. I'll go into more detail on another episode because I know we're coming up against the time limit here.
Yeah, we're
Our
we
self-imposed time limit. Yeah.
we're the band is sitting here itching to get strike it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you say, Dan? Let's strike up the band and
There
we'll
we
table
go.
this discussion for another episode.
All right. Well, thank everyone for tuning
Right.
in to the #1 Firewood podcast in the world.
Yeah. Which is the Woodhounds. And thank you for helping us become the #1 Firewood podcast in the world. And please give us a 5-star rating on the streaming service that you are using. And saying that, Dan, let's tell everyone out there to visit
Your local restroom when traveling.
Yeah. And stay
Safe
and have
a great day.